Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel where I want to spend a few minutes talking about the Glorious Guardian reworks that were announced earlier today on the official live stream. Now we know two of these reworks, Medusa and Purgatory, but they also let us know that there are four others coming, and then they will be announced presumably for November and for December, and the expectation here is that all six of these champs in this Glorious Guardian pool will be available during the Banquet event, which is in mid to late December. Now if the Banquet event and this pool worked like it did last year, I expect that there is going to be one representative per class in this pool. So we know the Cosmic representative, we know the Mystic representative. So I wanted to take some time today and just have some fun predicting who I think will be the remaining four champions in this pool. So if we switch over to Aunt May here, we'll start off with the Science class. Now I think that there are some really interesting options available for a Science buff. Gladiator Hulk comes to mind. Gladiator Hulk is a champ who did like one thing well, and that was counter magic, counter Dormammu, and then like after those defenders kind of fell off in the meta, he like completely fell off the map, and I don't see him being used anywhere. I think I saw one person maybe use him for like onslaught here and there, but like his damage is not good. He doesn't really have much utility anymore, so he's a good option. Now my selfish choice here could be Anti-Venom, who was a champ that I really like. I think he is very close to being a phenomenal champ in this game. However, I have always disliked how he kind of forces you to choose between his utility and his damage. He's very similar to Mr. Fantastic in his damage output, but Mr. Fantastic allows you to get both of those things at the same time. And even with a couple of synergies that they've added to Anti-Venom after release, he really just doesn't kind of reach that same plateau that I think Mr. Fantastic does. So those are some two options. However, there is one champ in this group here who was curiously omitted from the rework vote that Kabam put out, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, was it? And that doesn't really feel like a coincidence to me, and that is Sentry. Sentry is a champion who was pretty much panned immediately on release. I think they did kind of buff him a little bit shortly after because everybody just disliked him, and there are a few Sentry fans out there who've shown off some good things, but he is a champion who I think could really use a nice buff. He is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. He is going to be featured in the Thunderbolts movie that's coming out before long, and for me, I feel like this is like as close to a lock as you can get. It almost has to be Sentry in my mind, so that is my choice for the Science champ. All right, let's move on to the skill class. Now, the skill class is interesting because I feel like the majority of champions in this pool who are not yet available as 7 stars kind of fall into one of two categories. You've got your champions who are either like way too good already and probably won't be a 7-star anytime soon, or they're good enough to not need a buff at all. So you're talking like your Nick Furies, your Kingpins, your Zemos, probably Hitmonkey in there as well. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have a whole bunch of champs in the skill class who are just not relevant at all and would likely need a complete overhaul in order to be good. So you're talking like your Elektras, probably your Moon Knights, and maybe your Black Panther Civil War as well. Funny enough, mentioning Black Panther Civil War, I feel like there was a buff talked about for him like a year or two ago that just never materialized. So it is kind of tempting to choose him because of that. Now, there are a couple of like middle-of-the-road options in this class, too. One of them, I think, is Night Thrasher over here on the right. Thrasher could arguably be released as a 7-star as is. I know he's not very popular, but I do think he's pretty good. And if he were in the Titan when the pool refreshes next week, I really don't think I would be that surprised to see him in there. So having said all that, the champion that I'm going to go with for my skill prediction here is actually going to be Agent Venom. Now, Agent Venom is a really interesting champ because on his own, he is just not very good at all. He falls into that like irrelevant, not good damage, probably needs a complete overhaul category. However, If you put him on a team with Scorpion and Kraven, he instantly vaults into that upper category and is like legitimately a broken champion in terms of damage. There is absolutely no way that Agent Venom will ever come to this game as a 7-star unless that synergy is changed. So for me, the Glorious Guardian rework program provides a really good opportunity for Kabam to kind of kill two birds with one stone, right? They can nerf the synergy at the same time making Agent Venom able to stand on his own. And, you know, I'll miss this synergy because it's really overpowered. But, you know, having an Agent Venom who is meta relevant and who can, you know, be on a team without relying on two other champions for synergies, I think would be a pretty fair trade-off. So Agent Venom is my skill choice. All right, moving on to the Mutant class. There are a lot of good options in this class as well, depending on how much work or time the team wants to put into the buff or the reworks for this pool. So you have a champion like Beast, for example, who is pretty bad, and I don't think Beast has ever been relevant in this game, even on the day he was released. I don't think he was popular or very good. You have a champion like Psylocke over here who has some really interesting ideas in her kit, and her what's it called? Her Enervate, really powerful power control in a class that contains, you know, virtually no power control. So Psylocke is an interesting candidate. I would love to see, however, my girl X-23, and that's who I'm going to pick here. I'm not going to lie, I'm just trying to manifest this one into existence. I'm a huge fan of X-23, the character. I would love to have her as a relevant 7-star mutant in this game. I've often said that the easiest thing that you can do to X-23 is to uncap her bleeds. You know, there's probably balance concerns with doing that, so I don't expect that to just be what her buff would look like. But I would love to see her get some prowess and not just be like a, you know, more damage, less regen version of Wolverine. I'm really curious what they could do with her kit. So X-23 is absolutely just, you know, going with my heart here and not my head, going to be my mutant representative here. All right, and then last but not least, let's talk through the tech class. And again, there's some really good options here for total overhauls if they decide to go in that direction. You have Green Goblin, who's really bad. You have Iron Patriot, who's really bad. You know, Psycho Man has his fans, but I think by and large, he is not a very good character either. There is one specific champion in the tech class, though, who I think could be pretty close to being a very good and relevant champion, and that is Sentinel. Now, Sentinel is a champion who has been kind of passed by other robots in the tech class. But when you look at a champ like Nimrod, Nimrod covers so much design space that I don't think he is coming as a 7-star anytime soon. And then you have a champion like Ultron, who is exclusively available to raids at the moment. I know he was offered in one of those pay events that happened like a few weeks ago or a month ago. But again, not many people have a 7-star Ultron at the moment. So when you look at all of the robot attackers, there aren't many viable ones available at 7-star rarity. And, you know, to that point, we are about to have a lot of 7-star Mr. Sinisters running around in the game as part of this saga. So having another robot champ available at a relevant rarity, I think is a good enough reason to make Sentinel the tech choice for the Glorious Garden pool. Folks, that's going to do it for this one. And again, my official predictions for the remaining 4 Glorious Guardians are going to be Sentry, Agent Venom, X-23, and Sentinel. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Am I way off base here? Do you think that they're going to spend more time on total reworks here? Do you think that Kabam is going to stick to the 1 champ per class thing that they did last year, or are they going to double or even triple up? You know, who knows? It's anybody's guess at this point. Really would look forward to hearing what you guys think. And again, sound off in the comments below. Also, remember to hit that like button for me if you enjoyed this video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.